Hello and welcome to the Omnex webinar, Challenges of Implementing APQP. Today's webinar is being presented by Omnex Systems and Anthony John. Anthony John is the Vice President of Omnex Systems. He has 19 years of experience transforming technology businesses across global markets and a variety of customer industry segments. He has experience working with information technology, automotive, aerospace, oil and natural gas, and insurance companies. Anthony currently leads new product development for EWQIMS, a revolutionary software solution for managing enterprise quality for APQP, integrated management systems, supplier quality, and is used by various companies, OEMs, top automotive manufacturers, and many semiconductor organizations across the globe. During this webinar, if you have any questions, please enter them in your questions dialog box, and Anthony will try to get to them at the end of the webinar. This webinar is being recorded, and you will be reached out by someone from Omnex with how to access the materials. Go ahead, you can take it away, Anthony.
Thank you, Maz. Thank you, everyone, for joining us today. Just a few introductory slides, and we'll get to the topic of today's presentation, challenges on implementing APQP. A little bit about Omnex Systems. We are headquartered in Michigan, have global development centers. We offer many enterprise scale application solutions, APQP, IMS, or QHSE, quality solution, audit and compliance, and also enterprise quality. Focus today is going to be around the enterprise APQP and why companies are having challenges. We also work a lot in the area of technology around artificial intelligence with our bots. As a group, Omnex Systems is part of Omnex, and Omnex offers a lot of the training and consulting services also. We also provide staffing. The advantage of Omnex Systems is obviously the strength of Omnex, where we have many of our subject matter expert in the writing community of these standards, from FMEAs, SPC, to standards of 9001, 45001, medical devices. We still serve as SME for the IAQG. A lot of those credentials help us, improve our product. The software has been reviewed by our SMEs before launch. Worldwide offices, some of the solutions that I just introduced. So let's talk about today why APQP, right? APQP is not just an event, but it's more of a process and a methodology of a very disciplined and a structured way of working, which assures customer satisfaction. APQP objectives is that the primary goal of APQP is to have minimal quality issues, and you're driving continual improvement in the launch, and also use historical information that's available from previous launches. So these going to help you with effective communication, on-time delivery, and more importantly, defect-free products. Okay? And some of the benefits that you get out of an APQP implementation that it drives customer satisfaction, and you're able to detect and avoid problems. As product fails towards the later part of your APQP, the cost of rework is very high. Okay? Now, with all this known, still there are challenges, in implementing APQP. Why? Reason is most of organizations today still try to implement APQP using Excel or very siloed softwares where it doesn't really integrate and connect and share information. Okay, so collaborating not just within the department but within the enterprise, within the cross functions, cross sites becomes more and more complicated. The more bigger you are, the more challenge it is when you start implementing APQP using Excel. So what's happening is that your top management always has a challenge in understanding where are your projects, what is the status of your programs and launches? Are you meeting the timing? Are you meeting the quality of the event? Standardization and discipline in implementing APQP is something what we see when we meet all these customers. You do not have a common process of APQP. The risk management is very manual. Um, Linkages between design to your shop floor documents. If you're not even design responsible, like look at process flows, PFMEA's control plan, just that linkage not missing. There are so many non-conformance today that are written up between FMEAs and control plan linkages. So you're needing a tool that helps you build your DFMEAs, test plans. If you create today block diagrams and P diagrams, they also need to be there. They need to integrate with the design documents, the process flow, FEMA control plan, all the way work instructions. Right? I mean, the significant benefit with APQP is that the knowledge that you acquire through that new product launch is something you need to be able to reuse. And if you're unable to reuse that, you are creating information silos where one project team is not able to learn from the best practices launches from another team. Right? Um, Customer risks, the chances of how you manage these new product launches, and also the customer complaint. If you don't have a effective way of doing problem solving, it increases the risk of you having customer complaints and reworks. Analyzing FMEAs, that's another big deal today with very manual systems or even silo systems. It's very difficult to analyze FMEAs, and for that matter, even bringing in corrective actions from 8D or any problem solving solutions into FMEA, they're not possible. Having to do a revision control and change management of all the APQP artifacts that you're working through one single central system is also another challenge. So look at communication and distribution management within the APQP. You have a cross-functional teams. Are all your cross-functional teams able to communicate and get the right messaging of be it a plan change, be it a document change, when a customer complaint gets notified, do you have that communication? How many times you have to look at different softwares, different Excel spreadsheets maybe, just to see what is happening in your APQP launch? Okay, all these are and many more are some of the challenges that organization face today due to lack of not having a single window solution for managing APQP. Okay. Um, our goal in today's presentation is to show you rather more as provide you information in terms of what you should expect out of an APQP solution. Okay, the goal is to not to look at independent softwares, but look at a little bit more holistic solution where there is informations that could be shared between FMEAs and FMEAs and ADs, and bi-directional linkage between ADs and FMEAs. Control plan and MSA just linked together. Requirements and design connected together. Overall program management managed. So our goal today will be to show you how the entire APQP system should work and should have a handshake. Um, uh, so let's see that through a live demonstration. But this is the linkages that I talked about. FMEAs, voice of customer and DF design linked, DFMEAs to PFMEA linkage, MSAs linked with control plans. All of these linkages are needed today to have a more effective APQP solution. Okay. Anytime during the presentation, feel free to type your questions on the chat, and we'll be happy to answer them for you. Um, so I'm going to log in as a program manager who is going to be looking at what this day looks like, the overall program. So the software is a web-based software. Before I log in, I want to say that the software is a web-based software. You'll be able to see and manage everything just through a browser. We offer, there are software solutions available both on-prem and cloud. Our Omnix systems provide both this as a on-premise software, meaning the software could be installed on your local area network and be accessed. You could also have that as a managed service or a cloud solution. So here's Brad Smith, the overall program manager, who has, all these different projects that he is working on. Now his day looks like he's got all these documents he needs to approve. So you can click on that link and go and approve any documents of your choice. You can look at overall project or program risk. You can look at all the projects that he needs to review. You can click on that link and get to the projects that he needs to approve. Now, everything that he needs to work on a daily basis is available right in front of him. Okay? So let's look at the overall projects that he has. They're all color coded and status available to ensure, visually see where each of these projects are. Um, I'm going to look at one of those projects that was completed. If you notice here, you'd see an interface where it has three parts. One where it shows the overall APQP phases. And then at the bottom of those APQP phases, you could also see all the documents that are associated with APQP. And on the right hand side, you'll also be able to see the overall project or program information. As you navigate from each of those phases, you could see also the documents change. Now it's scoped it to yourself to the list of documents just on phase one. Okay, so let's talk this interface and let's look at a view of all the deliverables, the start and end date, what dates were they completed. You can also see small icons here to say that if you have a meeting, you can conduct a meeting. Any project deliverable risks that you could identify as you go along, working on this project or tracking this project. At every deliverable, you could also have attachments. So you can see a small clip sign which says that those are the document attachments. So I'm opening and show you phase by phase how you could look at each of these documents. Okay? Now, what we have done is that we have tailored our software so much to APQP that you could also manage all the documents, approvals, changes, all through that same system. Okay? So you can upload any of those documents that you need, and you can define all the templates, and you can track them. So these documents could be, Word, Excel, PDF, any format of your choice. You can upload them, or you could also have live links. For some of the documents that we have live link, for example, a PFMEA. If you click on that link, it'll directly take you to the PFMEA. So the idea behind having a fully integrated APQP system is to allow you to be able to work on not just the deliverables, the status and tracking of resources, but also having all documents in place. Setting this APQP program also is not so trivial, right? It will require several hours of effort defining all these deliverables, defining approvals at every stage of this, identifying risk. This challenge, what we have done is we have included something called as an APQP project template. So you could create project templates, and within these project templates, you could have not just a list of deliverables and the duration and possible resources or the category of resources, but you could also upload all the documents that you need and the workflows. They're all built in and defined once, and anytime you have a new project, you will be able to use that template and build your projects. Okay, you will at least save 50-60% of your time at a minimum when you take anything out of your program or a project template. Um, you could also then define different levels of PPAP projects. So you could I showed you a new product development plan, but it could be even PPAPs. Okay, so if you're PPAPing certain parts and you want to have a project template, so having any number of APQP or PPAP project template will be helpful for you. Now, once all this set up and you're running your APQP, you'll be able to look at all your deliverable list and see where so what are the tasks that I've been assigned to. Okay, so if Brad clicks on his deliverable list, he gets to see all the projects where at the deliverable act or that Brad is being responsible, and what is the percent complete, and you can go in and update the status. So the other part of APQP program is also, managing your customer requirements, right? How are you managing your customer requirements today? Is there a linkage between your requirements and design? So we provide you a requirements management solution that helps you manage all your requirements in one place. You can, change control and revision control these requirements. And so I'm going to use uh, one of those products here. And when I open those voice of customer requirements, you'll be able to see all the requirements that are related to that particular product or a family. Okay. Now, so in our software, we support two models. One is the idea of um, a family of pots. Okay, the other one is the idea of uh, bill of material. Okay, so let's look at the list of requirements here. Here's my voice of customer of this particular product. So here's a BOM structure that I see on the right hand side. I'm also able to see, the sub levels. So you could go to any level. Okay, so I'm able to list all my functions and requirements, and I'm also able to say, okay, these functions and requirements, what is the flow down of that? Okay, so how does a function and requirement affect my subsystem? How does a subsystem requirements, get transferred to a component level requirements? The software will allow you to define the requirement between system, subsystem, and components. I'm going to pause here for a few minutes for allowing users, for you to actually type in any questions if you have. Okay, so when you develop requirements will automatically feed into your DFMEA. You also can build requirements tree, failure tree. This also populates your DFMEA and test plans. So let's look at how a DFMEA looks like. So we're gonna go into one of those products and see how the DFMEA can be developed. Um, Today, most of the organizations that are using Excel file, they lose the advantage of not able to reuse some of the design and process reuse. So, and more importantly, the linkages are completely lost. So, with a software tool like this, you should be able to, link your DFMEAs and test plans together. So here's a, like an Excel-like looking DFMEA, but they're really not Excel. So any change in one document will change the related document. So if I, for example, if I change, let's say the DFMEA, um, you'll see test plans change as well. There are a lot of other capabilities on the design side, like the block diagram, P diagram, interface function metrics, and all that. But I'm not going to show you all those in today's presentation. But I wanted to, leave the thought that all these documents you will need it if you're design responsible. You'll be needing these document development. You need a tool to support all of them. Okay. You should be able to build process flows, PFMEAs, and control plans. Okay. When you add a new operation, you should be able to inherit or reuse this information between family of parts. So, for example, if I'm adding a new operation here, as I add new operation, you'll see the operation number just be created and the diagrams are drawn. When you build these, your FMEA should also get populated. Okay. DFMEAs and PFMEAs should have information link. So in the PFMEA, you should be able to link an effect back to a DFMEA. And you should also be in the process side. You should be also be able to share characteristics with the design. So software tools should support DFMEA and PFMEA linkages. When you finish your PFMEA, control plan should get auto-populated. At least 50-60% of your control plan needs to get auto-generated for you when you have your process flow and PFMEA. Okay, those are the small big things that will help you, not just ensuring your documents are all connected, but also ensuring that you don't miss a specific a control that was identified in FMEA is not missed in control plan. Okay. You It'll be also best if from these controls plans you are able to create your check sheets. Okay, and also your work instructions. So the more you're able to have it all integrated together will save a lot of effort and time in launching your APQP programs. Okay, let me open this in a new window so you can see more detailed work instructions with work sequences. The center part of the work instruction is actually the control plan itself. Okay, so you can see here a control plan, and this information on a work instruction is live linked with the control plan. Okay, so any change even in the work instruction will change the control plan. So what we saw now was the idea of documents being linked, but what is more important is also being able to reuse the information from between family of parts. Okay, that's where you save a lot of money and effort. So I created an operation for host assembly without typing a single line. If I open a process flow of one of those subfamilies or parts of a host assembly, you'll see that the operation that we just created has automatically transferred from the family to part. So you can make changes at the part level. A personalization at the part level could be done without impacting the family. Okay. Um, you should be able to create customer specific formats that are now new FMEA formats that's been released. I don't know how many of you know that the AAGVDA format is released, and slowly the OEMs have already given dates of when each of these their new programs are expecting to have AAGVDA as a document. So our software also supports AAGVDA, so you'll be able to pick an AAGVDA FMEA format. AAGVDA FMEA is, well, even though there is a tabular view to it, but it's becoming more and more complex in building AAGVDA documents through a tabular view. So we had gone ahead and developed interfaces to build AAG VDA documents more effectively. So um, I'm going to pause here for a few minutes. So I'm being prompted to give a break for users to type in questions. Okay, so you should be able to, the software should support AAG format as well. That's going to be the new FMEA. And you should be able to have AAG as part of your any FMEA tool that you're having today. Um, you should be able to have all your PPAP documents, and if you're from the aerospace industry, all your FAIs should also be, available. Having After you build all these documents, your project plans and everything, you still need the document control system where all of these are revision controlled and change controlled. So you need a document system for managing and tracking all the documents. Okay. So wouldn't it be nice to have one document control where you're housing all your APQP related documents? It could be it could be your QMS, EMS documents, your APQP programs and launches could be in the place here. Your PPAP documents could be all in one place. So everything that you need to manage APQP and the document control associated to it could be made all available in one place. They are rev controlled. The users by default get to see the latest version of the document, but if they have permissions, they can go and look at history of those documents as well. Okay. Now, how many of you have felt this challenge of hunting people for document approvals? Okay, I'm sure that's common in a world where if you're just using emails to get documents approved. Okay, with the software, you should be able to have one action list, and with a click, you should be able to see what are the documents that are waiting for approval, who is it waiting on approval. If you are an approver, you should be able to click and approve documents, within seconds. Um, so the document control is another integral part of the APQP solution. Problem solving. Now we had the OAPQP program launch. We had the capability to build, design, and process documents. You're able to reuse those information. You're able to build AAGBDA, FMEAs. You also now are able to control all these documents with change control and approvals. Even approval definition would be another important thing. I mean, no two organizations operate the same way. So having to be able to define your document approvals. I mean, I'm just showing you a document approval. It could be, even within an APQP project, approvals related to the overall program, or maybe within a program, a specific project, or specific documents within a deliverable. You should be able to define multiple levels of approvals, and for each rounds of approvals, you could say who are mandatory approvers and who are optional approvers. So the software should actually drive the approval work for you. We were discussing this with one of our customer, and he asked me, how do you ensure that with uh, that we have a software, but how do I ensure that the compliance is done? And then I told him that, okay, the software, if you're using, does not help you comply, then that software is not helping you standardize. So with all these approvals and checks and balances in place, the software should be the one who will actually be policing and monitoring you and ensuring that everybody, within the company has one way of working related to APQP programs and projects. Okay. Um, the next part of the APQP project is also being able to manage your customer complaints. Okay, could be internal customer, could be an external customer, and it needs to support a workflow of defining the problems, identifying, a champion that who can actually work on the problem and understand if the problem is not a false alarm and really a concern, and should be able to initiate a concern and work on the concern. Okay, so I'm going to show you an example of an existing problem that was completed, where I'm seeing a customer complaint related to external quality. And all these information that I'm showing you should be configurable, because your QMS problem could be very different from that of an environmental problem statement. Okay, um, and having that configurable will be very helpful. You should be able to work on different methodologies. So here's an example of an 8D. I'm able to see an 8D form. Uh, these problem solving tools should also not just give you a form where you just fill, but actually guide you through a process of problem solving. You should have all the tools that you need, like a 5W2H, is this not 5Y. If you look at D4, you also have possible cause form and fishbones. So all these integrated um, uh, tools will help you through a very guided and disciplined problem solving approach. Okay. Now, as you work on each of these tools, your 8Ds should also get populated. So, okay. For example, if you look at a 5Y, when you open a 5Y and as you work through a 5Y and say that this 5Y is my the last Y is the root cause, software should automatically populate the 8D um, for you. Okay. Um, when you finish your 8D, you should also be able to take things back to your FMEA. Okay. Um, so when you complete an 8D, if you realize that you need to update your FMEA, you should be able to update your FMEA document. So the software with the root cause linkages will help you support this option. Um, the other part of the APQP solution is that you should also be able to manage measurement system analysis. You should be able to manage continual improvement programs. So maybe this is a good time to switch to slides to show you what are all the other good things that you should expect out of an APQP solution. Okay, so I'll cover some of that through slides in the interest of time. So I showed you that you could actually do 5 Ys, and then you can define the last root cause being it auto-populates your 8D. More importantly, you should be able to define these linkages and update your FMEA. Okay. You could do calibration in the software. You should be able to do GRNR studies, MSA studies. You should also be able to do it for both variable and attribute gauges. Another important piece is that having to link your control plans. I showed you work instructions, but you should also be able to do your inspection through the system. We have a mobile app actually where the app could also work offline, where you can go to the shop floor and actually collect inspection data. Okay. Um, you should be now all this data now being available, it makes it easier for you to visually define dashboards and analyze where things are. Okay, these are some of the dashboards that come out of the box, but you should also be able to build your own visualization, resource tracking, different ways of how you could analyze FMEA, and having the power to build your own KPIs and analyze data should be one of those most important things that you get out of an APQP solution. So when you look at an APQP solution, it needs to be comprehensive, managing all the aspects of APQP. Okay. Um, Here's an APQP solution that I just talked about. It manages all your APQP programs. You're able to manage and track all the APQP activities, deliverables. The entire system is connected with emails, notifications, reminders. Okay, When you finish a deliverable, when you complete it, the project manager gets notified that somebody has completed the task. Okay. You should be able to manage your requirements, flow down of requirement between systems or system components, have traceability, both forward and backward traceability of requirements. I did not show you more about functional safety. We'll have a whole webinar on functional safety at another time. But functional safety, has about 100 plus work products that that you need to comply, especially if you're entering the autonomous vehicle or electric vehicle. You have a lot of functional safety products that you need to comply to. We showed you how DFMEA's test plans, process flow, FEMA control plan, work instruction, all that is to be made available, and it should be reusable. Inspections needs to be connected. Control plan and in process inspection, receiving inspection, final inspection, all inspections should be made available. You should be able to conduct your MSA, calibration, bias, linearity studies all through the system, and have a very disciplined problem solving, both internal and external. If you need, you can also include suppliers, and also drive continual improvement with KPI and monitoring tools. The more integrated your solution is, the easier it becomes implementing APQP. Okay, so don't look for a stopgap and a small siloed softwares, but look at a little bit more comprehensive solution that can help you in all facets of APQP. I did not talk about change management, but having a whole change management process as part of APQP is very, very essential. And a software, we have software to actually manage the change management processes. Okay. So that's the overall idea of what an APQP system should contain that will help you, achieve the benefits of APQP. Okay, so I'm looking at some questions here. We'll take some questions. Um, so there is a question of, looks like a good option. How might this be available with other software solutions that are available in the marketplace? Um, so as and they have brought a specifics how a new CT software from AAG. Okay, so we looked at the when you look at an APQP solution, it needs to be very comprehensive. That's the whole idea. It's not about just having one form where you're building an FMEA, but being able to reuse your FMEA information, track your whole program, having all these programs connected, linking to a problem solving system, having a handshake between FMEAs and 8Ds. So, if you look at any system that you're going to compare and benchmark, you need to look at holistically all the elements that I talk about, including inspections. Okay, including MSA, including customer complaint management. So that's the holistic view that you need to have when you look at any tool. Does your software generate automated emails and uncompleted tasks and made in control document? Yes. So anytime you have actions that are not completed, emails are triggered. Actions can originate from different sources. One, it could be APQP, could be related to an action from one of your D4 of your 8D, or it could be a reminder related to an MSA gauge not calibrated in time. So there could be many different actions that are coming out of APQP, and all these actions are available per user, and they automatically come into one place where the user can look at all the actions that are pending. And you could set up reminder frequency. You could also set up escalations in case the action is not done in time. Um, Are projects flight cloud, and if so, what protections are in place to address the cybersecurity? Uh, so we offer the software both as on-prem as well as on cloud. So if you are looking at on-premise, I think the software solution you're going to have will be something what you will have to the security needs to be part of your own system, right? You should definitely have need a cybersecurity within this company, and Omnix is also offering these cybersecurity um, services. If you had attended a webinar about 2 weeks ago, we talked about how IATF has sanctions interpretations on cybersecurity and what are the different services Omnex can offer. So Omnex can offer enterprise security like the ISO 27001 service. We could also offer OT security and also IoT related cybersecurity. So these cybersecurity requirements can be also fulfilled by Omnex. But answering the specific question here in terms of where your files are stored, so the software could actually have all the files stored on on-prem. On on-prem also, if you would like to have it encrypted, usually all the data is in a binary form, and then you could also use HTTPS within the network. You can enable within the on-premise also, you could enable data at rest. For all cloud deployments, all our cloud deployment data has data security, data at rest security enabled. There are volume level encryption enabled, and also data at transit security is enabled um, for all project files. Um, Next question is, can the software be accessed or interacted with the mobile tools? Yes, we the whole APQP solution that I presented to you. This is a cross browser, so you should be able to access the software through a tab at any time, and you should also be able to use a mobile app. So we have focused mobile app. I talked to you about a mobile app on inspection control, but we also have a mobile app for APQP tracking, where users can log in and provide what percent they have completed their task. They want to attach some documents, they can attach document. Similarly, for audit management, you should be able to conduct audits, or if it's a customer complaint, you should be able to document a customer issue through a mobile app. So we have focused mobile app for each of them. Very good questions here. Can you upload company specific, customer specific forms or problem solving templates? Yes, you can. You can. So if you have problem solving templates that are very specific to your requirements, yes, we can do that. We do have a form generator platform. Those forms. So you have two options. One, you could just use them as your existing Excel spreadsheet. We would not recommend that because you lose the capability to analyze. We have a form generator available that could actually help you build these forms. Um, so another question here is, from the inspection data gathered over time, can Aquapro statistically graph data to get CPCPK? Um, so it's not Aquapro per se, but we do have. I mean, I talked to you briefly about a software for inspections. So AquaPro and inspection controls are connected together. So data from AquaPro could go. When I say AquaPro is the tool for building process, developing process flows, PFMEAs, and control plan work instruction, they automatically feed into the inspection system for managing inspections. Like you could have your in-process inspections, your receiving inspections, and final inspection. Now, in the inspection control system, you will be able to, once you feed in inspection data, at least to 25 samples, you'll be able to get a CP/CPK reports system. Once again. Uh, Can Another question, can you provide MSA statistics on both attribute and variable gauges? Yes, you should. Our software will provide MSA related studies like gauges. I showed you very briefly, but calibration, GR&R studies, bias, and also stability analysis can be done through MSA system. Okay. Okay, so I think those are the questions that I see here. Okay. I think we're almost at the end of the presentation. I just wanted to, complete the presentation with the implementations. The success of many of these, APQP launches also depends on the implementations that you could follow. So Omnex has a implementation process where we'll install the software. We'll be there with our team to help you on the implementation workshop. We'll understand what your as is process, define your to be process, that, and then help you with templates to import data, or you'll have to manually enter data. We'll provide you end user training. At least you have to have 20% of your data in the system before you can start the training. Do a production launch and also train the trainer model. Okay? So the implementations is very, very important for you. So this is how you could successfully launch and roll out products. Some of the other solution that we also offer is the integrated management system for managing all the QMS, EMS, or any integrated management system requirements. We have an auditing tool. We support also layered process audits, management system audits. We have a TPM software solution for managing all the TPM requirements. We have a training and competency management for managing training and competency within the organization. An entire supplier quality management software solution is available for managing, supplier onboarding, supplier APQP, supplier documents, inspections, audits, corrective actions, and metric. Um, we have a TPM that is related to IIoT solution that's also available. We talked about mobility, so there are different mobile solutions that we have: inspections, audits, APQP programs, problem solving. We also have an artificial intelligence solution for managing, PPAP reviews. Okay, so you'll see more webinars and promotions coming around OBOTs very soon. So stay tuned for that. Um, that's all I had for today. And thank you all for joining us in our presentation. And there'll be more webinars coming up this year. We'll look forward to have you in those webinars. Thank you and have a wonderful day.